and welcome to another mid-year Faith Convention 2022 segment of our Pit Stop Faith Talk. We definitely want to thank Bishop Few and Supervisor Few for their leadership and support. And I am Vanessa Anderson, the 5th District RAYAC Vice President. On today, I have the distinct honor of speaking with Presiding Elder Harold R. Mayberry, the Presiding Elder of the Oakland, San Joaquin District of the California Conference and the 5th Episcopal District. And also, he serves as the chairperson of the Episcopal Committee. Welcome, Dr. Mayberry. How are you on today?
I'm great, Vanessa. Thank you. It's so good to be with you and so happy to have this opportunity to just chat for a while.
Yes. So let's get into some bio talk. And I didn't really cut anything out because although people know who you are, people still need to be aware of really who you are. So I'm just going to share just some highlights from your bio. Many people know you as a forefront leader within the church, within communities. You've done the work in every step of your journey. So even from your very humble beginnings, a native of St. Louis, Missouri, starting out as an altar boy, you went into the pastoral ministry. You served the congregations of Grant Chapel, Wentzville, Quinn Chapel in St. Louis, First AME Richmond, the Payne Memorial in New Orleans. And in New Orleans, you know, Presiding Elder, you were a hotshot. You were a community activist. You were just a leader. You were just doing dynamic things in New Orleans while you were there. Then later on, you came back in 96. God saw fit to bring you on back to the California Conference, where for 24 years, you served the wonderful people of First AME Church in Oakland, and of course, the surrounding communities as well. Because, you know, as a pastor, you were also still involved heavily within the community. And within that time, I realized that you were also elected as a delegate to the Democratic National Convention in 2000, which is amazing. That is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience, an experience that a lot of people will never be able to have. But you were able to have that moment and enjoy it. And also for 16 years, you have served as the chairperson of the Episcopal Committee. So you have done some wonderful things throughout your time in ministry as a leader. You have various sons and daughters of the ministry. I won't even ask you to count how many, because I know it's a lot. But so with all of these successes, with all of the challenges that come with pastoring, being a community leader, and also being a family-oriented person. You have a lovely wife, the lady Mary Mayo Mayberry. You all have children, grandchildren. With everything going on and throughout your journey, just how have you been able to bring balance? So that's the first question. How have you been able to bring balance?
Thank you, Vanessa. And I think that's a very important question. One of the things early in ministry that I attempted to do was make sure that my children understood that they were loved by me and supported by me. So when they were very, very young, when we were in Mississippi, I used to walk my children to school every day and then walk down the street. They were the school's about 4 or 5 blocks from the parsonage. So I'd walk them to school and come back in the afternoon and walk them home. It gave me an opportunity to do 2 things: find out how their day went, but also spend some time with them just as father, then son and daughter. That was important to me. As my kids got older and we have grandkids now, don't get to spend the kind of time I want to with my grandkids, but I do have the opportunity to talk every now and then with them to find out how they're doing, how things are going. One of the things that Lady Mary and I attempted to do pre-COVID was have date night, because it's important for me that Lady Mary understands that she's important in my life. She is a part of our ministry. We're in team ministry. And so, there's a life outside of the church. So we used to have date night every Friday night. Didn't always go to a movie, didn't always go bowling, didn't always go play pool, but we shared enough time that she realized and understood how important she is to me. So that's the balance I've tried to bring. I've tried to help congregations understand that while the congregation is important to me and I'm there for the congregation, so is my family important, and I have to be there for my family. So that's how I've tried to bring balance to my ministry.
Yes, definitely. And we definitely know that so many people acknowledge just how you are, you really stretch yourself, but it's in a way to where, your family doesn't seem to feel neglected. We love Lady Mary. She is just always there every step of the way. We've been able to see your grandchildren. Oh my goodness, they are so precious. I'm sure that they've grown now, but time is passing.
Yeah. Two of them are teenagers now. So you know what that means.
Time has passed by.
One of them's 21 now. So you know what that means.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So for another question, if you could go back in time, what is something you would tell your younger self while going through the challenges and the successes of ministry?
I would tell my younger self several things. One, take your time. I did not always take my time as I should have. And what I mean by that, I felt that I had to accomplish so much in a small amount of time. And that's not true. You can accomplish a lot of things, more things, if you just take your time. Number two, I would tell myself that people, and I was saying this to Fletch a little while ago, people don't necessarily expect you to have all of the answers all of the time. But what people do want is for you to listen to them. And I would tell my younger self that I don't have to have all of the answers all of the time. Just take your time and listen to people and work with them so that they feel comfortable with the fact that you're at least listening to their concerns and working toward trying to address those concerns. I would also tell my younger self that Rome wasn't built in a day. And if that's the case, you can move at a pace that you're comfortable with, but at least continue to move. I help my younger self understand that ministry is an opportunity to serve God in a very real way. And when you do that, trust God with all of your heart, lean not to your own understanding, as scripture says, you will discover, I would discover, that there are things that God has in place that are going to happen in God's pace. Yes. There are things that God has in place that are going to happen in God's pace. And I think my younger self would appreciate hearing that.
Yes, definitely. Well, I hope that a lot of, younger clergy, and it could just be someone that just has, a birthday, just a day separate from yours. I hope that they really took the words that you just said to heart and really use that as just something to just go on through life. Those were wonderful words that you would tell your younger self. So for us, we can go ahead and grab that now and just remember, especially the part of Rome, it definitely was not built in a day. So it's definitely good. Take your time, take the opportunities as they come, and just go for it. That was so wonderful. So with the pandemic, it has really reshaped everything in our lives. So how have you been able to adapt? How easy has it really been for you to adapt to the changes in ministry and worship over the last couple of years?
Vanessa, I had to laugh because I'm an OG. And this computer business, I wasn't there pre-pandemic. I had a computer, but I didn't use it like I use it now. But I've discovered that church has to be done differently in this post-pandemic season than it was in the pre-pandemic season. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I read an article that suggested that there will be many members of our churches who pastors have never met in person because they've joined virtually.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage pastors to do what I had to do, learn how to make worship virtually a part of what we do. I have a lot of in fact, the majority of my meetings on my presiding elders district are virtual. Mm-hmm. I've had to learn how to make this Zoom piece work for me. My last district conference was all virtual. Mm-hmm. I had to learn how to make this virtual reality work for me. My district conference that will be in 2 weeks will be a hybrid, but I've had to at least make sure that people who will not be there in person will be able to be there virtually. And you know that because you're the one that's going to be doing it for me. So, I've had to make this new reality work. And I've tried to help my pastors and the people on the district understand that we cannot do church tomorrow as we did it yesterday. And so I've learned that this computer is a very, very vital part of what I do now.
Yes, definitely. Even for me, I had to, get different computers. I was just fine with my one, but I was like, oh, nope, I got to diversify some. So yes, the computer has definitely reshaped a lot in just how ministry is being done. And even you mentioning the virtual aspect. Some pastors may never meet some of their new members because they've done the e-join. They are e-members now. And that's definitely a big part in all of this. This way of life, definitely. Right. So as a faith leader, can you share an experience that you've had where it was a walk by faith, not by sight experience?
Yes, I can, Vanessa. And interestingly enough, it was at the last general conference. The Episcopal Committee had to make some very difficult decisions, not just Harold Mayberry, but the entire Episcopal Committee. We had to believe that what we were doing was strictly where God wanted us to go. We had to make sure that we prayed and believed God for the outcome. It wasn't necessarily very popular with a few of the people, but it became a real faith walk. I had to believe as the leader of the Episcopal Committee that we were being divinely directed. And even if some people disagree, that's okay. People don't always have to agree with you, but we have to agree that our walk is by faith and not necessarily by what we see. What we see may be shaky ground, but it's faith that says we're on solid ground. And so for me, that experience at the last general conference as chairperson of the Episcopal Committee was a walk by faith and not by sight experience.
Yes, definitely. And you have served and you continue to serve well as the chairperson of the Episcopal Committee. So we are definitely grateful for your leadership, even within the church, not just locally, but even on the connection level. It means a lot. And we are so thankful for just your insight and for that faith walk. That can definitely be a sermon, the faith walk. So as this is Pit Stop Faith Talk, we have one more question. And it's not really a question, but when you think of the word faith, what song comes to mind?
It's interesting. When you when I talk about faith and think of the song, the first song, because I'm an old G, the song that comes to mind is a song in the hymnal, "Oh, for a faith that will not shrink,
Oh, yes.
pressed by every foe, that will not tremble on the brink of any earthly woe." And then it's the first part of that last verse that says, "Lord, give us such a faith as this." When I talk about faith and think about how important faith is in our walk and relationship with God, that song comes to my mind.
Yes, and that is definitely a beautiful song. I actually heard it on YouTube the other day from one of the college choirs. They were singing it. I was like, oh, this song is so beautiful.
I love it.
You know, sometimes we just need that OG sprinkle. So thank you for Mayberry for giving us that OG sprinkle. And do you have anything else that you would like to say or share? I'm so glad that I was able to take this time to speak with you today for the Pit Stop Faith Talk. Is there anything else you would like to tell us?
Yeah, I want to thank Fletch, who I promised I was going to do this conversation for. I think it's important for the church to hear from people of God, people who believe in the faith principle. I want to thank you, Vanessa, for making this conversation so easy and so smooth. I really enjoyed doing it. I commend you for the concept of faith walk, faith talk. I think it's important for people from the mid-year to see reflections of what we who were sharing in mid-year felt regarding this principle of faith. So thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of it.
Yes, thank you as well. And we are out. And again, we will be having some more Pit Stop Faith Talks coming up. So just stay tuned for more. And thank you again, Presiding Elder.